System development, database, system, and application development tool. System development. System development activities are often grouped into larger categories called phases. This collection of phases sometimes is called the system development lifecycle or development lifecycle. An information system is a collection of hardware, software, data, people, and procedures that work together to produce an information. As a user of a technology in a business, you might someday may participate in the modification of an existing information system or the development of a new one. Thus, it is important that you understand the system development. Many traditional SLDs contains five phases: planning, analysis, design, implementation, support, and security. Planning, review project requests, prioritize project requests, allocate resources, form project development team. Analysis, conduct preliminary investigation, perform detailed analysis activities, study current systems, determine user requirements, recommend solution. 3. Design, acquire hardware and software if necessary, develop details of systems. 4. Implementation, development, develop programs and apps if necessary, install and test new systems, train new users, convert to new system. 5. Support and security, perform maintenance activities, monitor system performance, access system securities. Ongoing activity, project management, feasibility assessment, documentation, data information gathering. System development guidelines. System development should follow three general guidelines, groups, activities interfaces, involve users, and define standards. 1. Group activities interfaces. Others have more few phases. Regardless, all the system development cycles have similar activities and tasks. 2. Involve users. Users include anyone for whom the system is being built: customers, employees, students, data entry specialists, accountants, sale managers, and owners, all example of users. 3. Define standards. Standards are set of rules and procedures an organization expects employees to accept and follow. System development should involve representatives for each department in organization. This includes both non-technical users and IT professionals. Although the roles and responsibilities of members of the system development may change from organization to organization, this module presents general description of tasks for various team members at a major organization. Project management. Project management is the process of planning, scheduling, and controlling the activities during the development. The goal of the project management is to deliver an acceptable system to the user on an agreed upon time frame while maintaining cost. Project leaders or project managers are part of the team. If the system analyst is not project manager, he or she work closely with the project manager. In a large project, the project leader manage and controls the budget and schedule for the project. After these items are identified, the project leader usually records them in a project plan. Project leaders can use project management software to assist them in planning, scheduling, and controlling development of projects. One aspect of managing projects is to ensure that everyone delivers on time and according to plan. To plan and schedule project effectively, the project leader identifies the following elements: goals, objectives, and expectation of the project, collectively called the scope, required activities, time estimates for each activity, cost estimates for each activity, order of activities, activities that can take place at the same time. Gantt and PERT chart. A Gantt chart is a chart that uses horizontal bars to show project phases or activities. The left side or vertical axis displays the list of required activities. A horizontal axis across to the top or bottom of the chart represents time. Per chart, short for program evaluation, and review technique chart developed by US Department Defense. How do project leaders adjust when a project changes? After the project features and deadlines have been set, the project leaders monitors and controls the project. Scope occurs when the activity has led to another that was not planned originally. Some activities take less time than originally planned, others take longer. Feasibility assessment. System analysts frequently reevaluate feasibility during the system development project. Feasibility is a measure of how suitable the development of project will be to the organization. A project that is feasible at a point during system development might become infeasible at a later point. A system analyst typically uses at least four tests to evaluate feasibility of a project. Operational feasibility measures how well proposed information will work. Will the user like the new system? Will they use it? Will it meet the requirements? Will it cause easy changes at work environment? Is it secure? Schedule feasibility measures whether the established deadlines of the project are reasonable. If a deadline is not reasonable, the project leader might make a new schedule. The scope of the project might be reduced to a meet mandatory deadline if original deadline cannot be extended. Technical facility is whether an organization has or can obtain the computing resource, software services, and qualified people to develop, deliver, and then support the information system. An organization choice for choosing computing resource and software services in a house or on the cloud may impact a system technical feasibility. Economic feasibility. A system analyst often uses the advice of the business analyst who uses many financial techniques to perform a cost and benefit analysis. Documentation is the collection and summarization of data, information, and deliverables. It is important that all documentation is well written, thorough, concise, and understandable. The information system should be reflected accurately and complete in documentation developed throughout the development process from start to finish. Maintaining up-to-date documentation should be an ongoing part of system development. Too often, project team members put off documentation until the end of the project because it is time consuming. But this project but these practices typically results in a lower documentation. Oversee a project using project management software. 1. Make sure you understand the project in its entirety, as well as the steps you take to bring the project to completion. 2. Determine the dates by which the project must be completed. 3. Verify you have the appropriate resources, people, and materials to complete the project. If you do not have the necessary resource, obtain them if possible. 4. Determine the order of the steps that must be taken to bring the project to completion. Identify steps that must be taken before the other steps, as well as steps that can be completed at the same time as the other steps. 5. verify the feasibility of the plan. 6. During the project, it will be necessary to upgrade the progress and possibly adjust dates. Changes to the project and its dates should be communicated to the entire project team. How do team members collaborate? Conferencing software allows humans to share documents via online meetings. In a web conference, the facilitator may share a document for all the participants to see at the same time. Participants also have the ability to open a chat window and type messages one another. Data and information gathering techniques. During system development, members of the project team gather data and information for many reasons. They must keep a project schedule, evaluate feasibility, and make sure the system meets the requirements. Analysts use several techniques to gather data and information, including interviewing, observing, and conducting research. Review documentation. By reviewing documentation such as organization charts, memos, and meeting minutes, system analysts learn about the history of the project. Documentation also provides information about the organization, such as its operation, weakness, and strengths. Observe. Observing people helps system analysis analyze observe. Observing people helps system analysis understand exactly how they perform at a. Likewise, observing a machine allows you to see how it works. Surveys to obtain data and information from a large number of people. System analysts distribute surveys. Interview. The interview is the most important data and information gathering technique for the system analyst. It allows the system analyst to clarify responses and probe during face-to-face feedback. JAD session. Instead of single one-on-one interview, analysis analysis often use joint application design sessions to gather data and information. A joint application design (JAD) session or for group consists of a series of lengthy, structured groups of meeting in which user and IT professionals work together to design and develop application. What circumstances initiate system development? A user may request a new modified information system for a variety of reasons. The most obvious reason is to correct a problem such as incorrect calculation or security breach. Organization may also want to improve hardware, software, or other technology to enhance an information system. Sometimes, situation outside the control of an organization require a modification to an information system. Corporate management or some other governing body may mandate many changes. Reorganization and completion also can lead to change. In a large organization, user write a formal request for a new or modified information system. The project request becomes the first item of documentation for the project. It also triggers the first phase of system development planning. Planning phase. The planning phase for the project begins when the steering committee receives a project request. This committee usually consists of 5 to 9 people and typically includes a mix of vice president, managers, non-management users, and IT personnel. During the planning phase, four major activities are performed. 1. Review and approve project requests. 2. Prioritize project requests. 3. Allocate resources such as money, people, and equipment to approve projects. And 4. Form a project development team for each approved project controls. How are projects prioritized? The committee approves some projects and rejects others. It is likely that only few will begin system development immediately. Others will have to wait for additional funds or resources to become available. Analysis phase. The analysis phase consists of two major activities. One, conduct a preliminary investigation, and two, perform detailed analysis. The investigation, preliminary investigation involves interviewing the users of a system or application to determine whether it is worth pursuing. The main purpose of the preliminary investigation is to determine the exact nature of the problem or improvement. This report present, uh, presents the team's findings to steering committee, which decide whether or not the project should continue. Often, the preliminary investigation is completed in just few days. Upon completion of the preliminary investigation, system analysis writes the feasibility report. This report presents the team's finding to the steering committee. Does the feasibility report always recommend that project should be continued? In some cases, the project team may recommend to cancel the project. The steering committee agrees the project ends at this point. If the project team recommends continuing and the steering committee approves this recommendation, then the detailed analysis begins. Detailed analysis. Detailed analysis involves three major activities. One, study how current system works. Two, determine the user's wants, needs, and requirements. And three, recommend solution. System analysis develop a purpose solution without regard to any specific hardware or software. They make no attempt to identify the procedures that should be automated or manual. A major task for the system analyst is to document this finding in a way that can be understood by anyone. The system proposal. After assessing all user requirements, the next step is to communicate possible solutions for the project in a system proposal. The purpose of this system proposal is to assess the feasibility of each alternative and then recommend the most feasible solution. Often involves modifying or expanding the current system. Security issues arising from outsourcing. Business outsource from core functions because third-party vendors may be more efficient and more cost-effective than the businesses trying to perform the function on their own. Non-core function include general business tasks such as maintaining and supporting an organization information systems and processing customers' payment on website. When a company outsources customer services, it is a company's best interest to treat its customers well. Sometimes, when a business outsources, the external vendors are not as careful with security and customer data as the business itself might be. Design phase. The design phase consists of two major activities. If necessary, acquire hardware and software, and two, system analysts develop all the details of the new or modified information system. The system analysts often perform these two activities at the same time instead of sequentially. When the steering committee approves a solution, the system analysts begin the activity of obtaining additional hardware or software. The system analyst may skip this activity if the approved solution does not acquire new hardware or software. If this activity is required, it consists of four major tasks. 1. Identify technical specification. 2. Solicit vendor proposal. 3. Test and evaluate vendor proposal. And 4. Make a decision. Identify technical specification. System analysts use variety of research techniques to determine what equipment is required for a new modified computer. Many trade journals, newspaper, and magazines provide some or all of their printed content online. After the system analyst defines the technical requirement, the next step is to summarize these requirements for potential vendors. The system analyst can use three basic steps of documents for this purpose: an RFQ and an RFP or an RFL. Request quotation identifies the required products. With an RFQ, the vendor quotes a price for the listed products. With a requested proposal, the vendor selects the products that meet specified requirements and then quotes the price. A request for information is a less formal method that uses standard form to request information about a product service. Solicit better proposal. After assessing all user requirements, the next step is to communicate possible solutions for the project in a system proposal. The purpose of the system proposal is to assess the feasibility of each alternative and then recommend the most feasible solution. Often involves modifying or expanding the current system. Test and evaluate vendor proposal. After sending RFQs, RFPs, and RFIs to potential vendors, the system analyst will receive completed quotation and proposal. Evaluating the proposal and then selecting the best one is a difficult task. System analysts use many techniques to test the various products. From vendors, they obtain a list of user references from the software vendors. They also talk to current users of the software to solicit their opinions. A benchmark test measures the performance of hardware or software. A benchmark test could measure the time it takes a payroll program to print 50 paychecks, comparing the time taken by different accounting programs in one way of measuring each performance. Make a decision. Having rated the proposal, the system analyst presents the recommendation to the steering committee. The recommendation could be to award a contract to a vendor or to not make any purchases at this time. Detailed design. During database design, the system analyst works closely with the database administrator to identify those data elements that currently exist within the organization and those that are new. The system analyst also addresses user access privileges. During detailed design of inputs and outputs, the system analyst carefully design every menu, screen, and report specified in the requirements. The output of the detailed first because they help define the requirements of their inputs. The system analyst may develop a mockup and a layout chart. During program design, the system analyst prepares the program specification package, which identifies required programs and the relationship among each program, as well as the input, output, and the database specification. How can system analysts build relationship with users? System analysts have so much credibility with user if they understand user concerns. If users are involved, they are more likely to accept and use the new system. The advantage of prototype is, is users can work with system before it is completed to make sure it meets their needs. Prototyping. A prototype is a working model of a proposed system essential functionality. The main advantage of prototype is users can work with the system before it is completed to make sure it meets their needs. As soon as users approve a prototype, system analysts can implement a solution more quickly. Who reviews the detailed design? Many people should review the detailed design specification before they are given to the programming team. Reviewers should include users, system analysts, managers, IT, and members of the system development team. If the steering committee decides the project is still feasible, then the project enters implementation phases. Implementation phase. The purpose of implementation phase is to contract or build the new or modified system and then deliver it to the users. Members of the system development team perform four major task activities in this phase. 1. Develop programs and apps. 2. Install and test new system. 3. Train users. And 4. Convert to the new system. Develop program and apps. Software developers write or modify programs and apps from the program specification package. If the organization purchases retail software or no modifications are required, the development team may skip this activity for custom software that is new or requires modification. However, it is developed or modified by an outside firm or in-house. What is a sandbox? A sandbox is an environment that allows software developers to test their programs with fictitious data without adversely affecting other programs, information systems, or data. Sandboxes are used for testing purpose both developers and users. Users often work with the sandbox to familiarize themselves with the new programs or information system before they use it. Install and test the new system. If the organization acquires new hardware or software, someone must install and test it. System analysts should test individual programs. They should be sure that all the programs should work together in the system. System analysts and users develop test data so that they can form various tests. A unit test verifies that each individual program or object works by itself. System test verifies that all programs in a application works together properly. An integration test verifies that an application works with other applications. An acceptance test is performed by the end users and check the new system to ensure that works with the actual data. Train users. Training involves showing users exactly how they will use the new hardware and software in the new system. Some training takes place as one-on-one sessions or classroom-style lectures. Other organizations use web-based training, which is self-directed, self-paced online instruction. Convert to the new system. With direct conversions, the user stops using old systems and begin using the new system on a certain date. The advantage of this strategy is that it requires no transitions, comes and then is a quickly implementation technique. However, it is extremely risky and can disrupt operations seriously if it doesn't work in the first time. The final implementation is to change from old system to the new system. This is to change This change can take place using one or more following conversion strategies: direct panel, phase, or pilot. Parallel conversion consists of running the old system alongside the new system specific time. Results from both systems are compared. The advantage of this strategy is that you can fix any problem in the new system before you terminate the old system. The disadvantage is that costly to operate two systems at the same time. In a pace conversion, each location converts at separate time. For example, an accounting system might converted its accounts receivable, accounts payable, general ledger, and the payroll sites in a separate phases. Each sites can use direct or parallel conversion. Larger system with multiple sites may use phase conversion. With a pilot conversion, only one location in the organization uses the system so that it can be tested. After the pilot sites approves the new system, other sites converts using one of the conversion strategies. Support and security phase. The purpose of the support and security phase is to provide ongoing assistance for information systems and its users after system is implemented. The support and security phase consists of three major activities. 1. Perform maintenance activities. 2. Monitor system performance. And 3. Assess system security. Information system maintenance activities includes fixing errors, as well as improving a system operation to determine initial maintenance needs. The system analyst should meet with the user. The purpose of this meeting is to discover whether the information system performing according to the user. During this phase, the system analyst monitors performance of the new modified information system. The purpose of this performance monitoring is to determine whether the system is inefficient or unstable at any point. Technology security plan components. A computer security plan should identify all the system security risks that may cause an information system asset loss. It should include all possible safeguards to detect, prevent, and recover from the loss. Information assets includes hardware, software, documentation, procedures, people data, facilities, and supplies. The goal of the computer security plan is to match appropriate level of safeguards against the identified risk. The more secure a system is, the more difficult it is for everyone to use. Microsoft has developed a security system lifecycle to guide the development, implementation, and review the process.